Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad you're here today.
We are, and we're also excited to have a special guest with us here today. We have Brandy, who is going to be sharing some of her design tips. She is a user of the platform and a creator of websites and templates and all kinds of great stuff. Hey, Brandy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We are really excited to have you here today. So today, as always, we are going to be sharing tips to help you make an easier go of your website, of running your business. Here at AttractWell, we have everything that you need under one roof, and creating your pages for your website just got so much easier. So we're going to be getting into those updates here today, and then we'll have Brandy here to share some really interesting tips and tricks as well. We're going to pop out a video. I've got just a little bit of housekeeping slides prepped here for you, and then we're going to come back and join you on video here in just a bit. Today, we are talking about how we can create beautiful websites using the AttractWell Page Builder. Again, if you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and head into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. It's awesome to see some familiar names, but some new names here as well. Excited to have you. We are live here every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time, and this is a free opportunity for you to learn more powerful ways to run your business, working smarter, not harder, and then, of course, learning how to use the AttractWell system to get it done. So today we're going to be exploring the page builder feature in AttractWell. So if you have questions, please do go ahead and add those to the Q&A. This is a live work call. This is an opportunity for us to work together here. And we do save space on these calls to work with you. So if you've got those questions, don't hesitate, add those to the Q&A here. And if you're watching this as a replay, feel free to go over to attractwell.com/office hours to join us on an upcoming call. When you put your name and email on that page, you will get notified about all of our upcoming office hours topics, as well as any resources, free resources for your account that you might want to put to use in AttractWell. If you'd like to work together, we do save space on these calls to work together live. AttractWell.com/work review is where you can go to request space on an upcoming call. We do, of course, keep this available. We'll have time to work with you today, provided that we have enough of it, depending on how many of you need the help. But if you'd like to schedule time in the future, AttractWell.com/work review is where you can go to reserve space on an upcoming call. And if you would like for someone to just do the work for you, that is an option for you as well. AttractWell.com/concierge is where you can go to learn about our team. So today we are going to talk about we are not Get Oiling or AttractWell. Forgive me. We've got new page builder updates. We've got design tips from an AttractWell Pro, and we will get into some live help and Q&A. So what I would like to do now, without further ado, is I'm going to let Greg take over the share here and walk us through some of the many changes that have been made recently to the page builder feature in AttractWell, and you can learn how to take advantage of these awesome new updates that Greg has worked so hard to put into place. So Greg, take it away.
Thanks, Ashley. All right, let me share out my screen here so you guys can see what we're doing, or what I'm doing. So yeah, first of all, actually, before we get to the page builder update, there was an update this morning that I think many of you will appreciate because this was one of our top requests. There's now in the image library, there's a way to add collections. So now you can organize your images. You can put an image into a collection and view and filter them not only here, but like wherever you insert the images as well. So right now I have all images shown. You can click over here into the content library menu. You can see it shows the collection that's there. If you just want to see images that are, say this one has a graphics one, so it's going to pull up just all the graphics. Maybe you want all the photos. Anyway, you can create your own collections. You can rename them. You can do whatever you want to with those. In terms of organization, you can move them around pretty easily. Select them and move them to a collection, pick the collection, and boom, it goes ahead and moves it for you. If you're organizing a lot of them and you want to use a select all, you can go up to 200 per page here at a time that you can move at a time or work on at a time. And if you upload them here, they will go into whatever collection that you have chosen. If you just want to see the ones that are not in a collection, there's a show images not in a collection, so you can see the ones that haven't been categorized yet. You can kind of browse through them and see them there. So that'll show up in the page builder. I just wanted to start with that because that's a feature that has been long requested, and I wanted to put that out there for everybody. So if you've been in our Facebook group, you've probably seen me post a few times about page builder updates. If you haven't, feel free to hop over there, join our Facebook group. So I'm going to show you the page builder. It's under the website and blog menu. Click on pages. I'll go back. I think we've had 3 or so updates, I think, that we posted about in the Facebook group. But anyway, it's under pages. The one on this list of pages that you have here. There's a new icon here to see the revision history for a page. Now, I don't know offhand if any of these have a revision history. This one doesn't, but if you did, it would show up here. Basically every time you click to save, it creates a revision. And I think it goes back like 50 and then 30 days, something like that, 30 days maximum. So it'll basically, it's like a safeguard if you've ever accidentally written over, so you got 2 tabs open and you click save on the wrong one, or you're editing the same page and you click save on the wrong one and it blows away some work that you have on the other one. Now you can go to the revision history and dig it up and get out what you need from there without having to rebuild it from scratch or worry about losing stuff, that kind of thing. And the other component that's new here, relatively new anyway, are these undo and redo. So if I do something here and I just put that on there, make an edit. Okay, so now there's an undo. I can hit that and you can see what I typed there went away. Oops, I want it back. Okay, so I can do a undo and redo. That's a great way to quickly go back without, now these don't create revision histories until you hit save, but it's also a great backup in case you just want to click back a couple spaces. The other thing is if your computer crashes or something happens to it, you lose internet, and you have to come back or restart the computer, something like that. It should also act as like a crash recovery. So if it finds an unsaved page, it'll pop up and say, hey, it looks like you've got an unsaved version of this page. Would you like to restore it? And you can say yes, and it'll go back. If you don't like it, you can just reload it and clear it out of there and go back to what was there before. But basically, it's just a way of a backup. And related to that, you can get to the revision history under this little drop-down menu on the settings side, see my revision history. That's an available option there as well. Yeah, and so let me move on to some of the features here that are new as well. So one of the things, actually, let me go back to a template. I know there's one template that's got a few things on there that I can use. Oh, yeah, the other thing, this has been here a while, I'll just mention it. In case you delete a page entirely, there's a deleted pages button here, and there's a trash can that pages sit there for 30 days until they're actually deleted. So if you delete something, you need to get it back. It's also in here. This is not a new feature, but wanted to point it out just in case if you have that need for it. Anyway, let me pull up a template. I'm just going to grab this one here. So starting with the changes that have come here in the last couple of weeks, we've added, I mean, there's always been a sidebar. It just kind of popped up when you clicked on things, and its behavior was a little bit different. So been some significant changes to the sidebar over here and how the editor itself behaves when you're working with it. A lot more options, a lot more flexibility, that kind of thing that I'll show you today. But right away it gives you some instructions, how to get started, where to go do these common actions basically. And as you click on things, it will allow you to to edit the page, and you can add and all that. So let me get started with one of the big changes is you used to, when you clicked on it before, it would always pop up a box so you could edit it right away. Now it just simply selects it, so you can work on it over here if you want to change the styles or you want to add something to it or move things around. That is relatively new. I think it's the most recent change is this little click. So if you click on a section, it's going to pop up this little box and highlight it. Another recent change is the drag and drop. So if you kind of start dragging and dropping, you can move certain elements around. This is where undo comes in handy because sometimes the computer doesn't know where you want it to go and it puts something more weird. So you can just do undo and jump back to where you were pretty easily, thanks to that nice little feature. So there's drag and drop. You can go between columns. You can go between sections. So anyway, that's a nice way. It gives you a little more layout flexibility. Also here, if I click on this once to select it, I click on it again or click the edit content button, it does pop up the box where you can continue to edit it as the previous box was before. You can hide it as well if you're working on styles. And in fact, if you start working on styles, like if I go over here and add a background color, it does close it automatically so that you can see what these colors, what the styles are that you're working on. Like if I wanted to lighten this up and change the color or something along those lines, I could do that here. Anyway, I'll just remove that for now. So one of the other useful changes here with the style, so the style panel used to have to click on this and then click, there was an edit styles button there, which actually is still there if you close this panel, but you used to have to click that in order for this right-hand panel to appear. And it would have all of the styling listed out, but all of them were expanded kind of like this. And so it was difficult to see and find what you were looking for. But so now by default, they're all closed. So you can see kind of at a glance, what are the things I can do here style-wise? And you can see, so like if I add a background color, I don't know if you've noticed it, but so if I hit add, there's a little dot there that shows styles modified. So you can look and see at a glance any of these, which ones are modified. So you don't have to click and scroll and try to figure out which ones are different. Like now, if I, for example, it's a little tight. If I were going to go with this layout, I'd probably add a little padding on there just to make it look a little nicer. And as you can see here, there's a dot that says styles modified. So any of these things, if I go drop, add a shadow on there. Now there's a little dot. Remove the shadow, the dot goes away. Add rounded corners, so there's the dot. So anyway, it shows you at a glance what's been modified, I think, which is super useful as if you're trying to diagnose a problem, like, oh, this has too much spacing, what's going on? Well, this is a good way to fix that and kind of get to the root of it at a glance. The other nice change here in this panel on the right is you can edit columns right from here. So if you have only one set of columns in a given section, and a section is from one add section button to another, you can kind of see these buttons here, add section, add section. So the section is what's in between here, and it has one of these little bars with some of the tools you can do on it. But now you can modify the columns right from here. So like if I were to shrink that down, I could do that. And it'll adjust it right there without having to go into the column editing tool, which you can still do. You can still come over here and click edit columns and come over here and modify it this way. That's absolutely a possibility. It continues to be the same thing, but I'll pop back over here. It's just a nice way of adjusting the columns without having to go in there. All the rest of these are pretty much the same as they always have been. They're just collapsed by default now so that you don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll to get through the huge list of properties. So some of the other nice changes along these lines. So let's say you want to, let's do this here. Let's say I want to make a copy of something. Previously, it's like, well, you'd have to just edit this and copy and paste it in here, and then you have two versions of it. Well, if you want to make just a copy of it, now there's a little duplicate button, make a copy of it, and boom, you now have a copy that you can do something with. Maybe you want to take that copy and slide it over here underneath this this image. So there you go. Awesome. Now you can come in here, edit the content, change it however you want to. Maybe you want to style it somehow different. Or let's say I hit copy. Whoops. I didn't really want to do that. I mean, I could use undo, but there also is this delete selected element button. So if you hit that, it goes away. You can get it back with undo as well. So that is an option for you there with the edit and delete. And if you want to change the order, that's another option that's new here as well. I can move this up or down within it. Basically, it's within its container. In this case, this container is the column, so you move it up and down within that. Like here, I think there's three things. So I can show you how this works. It's kind of how like drag and drop did it, but it's basically just a little bit more precise if you need to be fine tuning that. That's an option there as well. So that's some of the changes in the style panel. The other change too, I'll mention when you're adding a section, this used to be a pop-up. So you click add section, this stuff over here used to pop up and there were some tabs and whatnot to find what you're looking for. But here, now you can just easily browse, okay, I need two columns, I want a two-column section added there, or maybe I want one of these interactive, I want an accordion or a carousel or a countdown timer, that kind of thing in there. That's all available for you to add as an entire section. And so the other nice thing, the other nice addition, I think this is a bigger one. You've probably seen this big add button here. Actually, before I get to that, let me show you this. So like to edit the background, so like this section down here has this background color on it, and this one's white. Like if I wanted to change that, You can still click this pencil icon here, which changes the section settings, and then I can come in here and change the background color, whatever I would want to do with that. But now when you're editing any content in there, you can just click this little section link at the top and it'll take you to that spot, and it kind of wiggles it so you know what you're editing. But then you can go ahead and change the colors or whatever. So it's just kind of a shortcut without having to click the pencil. It'll be just right there for you to work on. Anyway, so let me come back in here, but go back to the add button. So like now if I click add, or I just clicked on it to open the editor, either one works. But if I click add, there's a whole panel of options here, including some adding things that I'll show you here down below. So these common, it starts open with the commonly used elements. And all of these are available through the editor. For those of you who have been using the system, you can still insert an image by coming over here. You can still add a video by clicking here. You can still add a link by clicking here. All those things are still available, but this is a little bit more of a, call it like a guided tour version of it. So let's say I want to add an image. I'll go ahead and click add. It asks me a question. What size and alignment would you like? Centered, left aligned, right aligned, full width. So if I go with, for example, left aligned, it'll wrap the text around it automatically. So I don't have to worry about, having to change those settings. But you can do display in line and then align left to get the same thing. But it's kind of a shortcut, an easy way for you to do that. You want a full width image, easy enough, full width add, boom, there it is. You can still resize it. All the options are still available. You can still add a link on an image, still whatever you want to do to it. So that's there. It's just kind of a convenience. Video is pretty similar. It just opens the pop-up just like clicking that add video button. Really nothing too new there. Link is really nice now, this inserting a link. And again, while you can still come over here and either type an URL and text or pick from this little drop-down list, which can get pretty long when you have a lot of pages. Now this insert link feature actually pops up a little box where you can pick a page and search for something. So example, if I search for this and I pick it, it automatically fills in the URL and the text. And you can even change the button style before you insert it. I'm just going to use this as a link because there's a separate button inserter that I'll show you. But I'll hit that, and now it's also going to pop up. The first time that you add a button, it gives you some tips. This is how you change the button color. This is how you edit the link and text now that your button or link is there, and just some instructions on how to work with that once it's done. So let me go over here and I'll add button because that's pretty similar actually to link. Pick a page and you can choose your button color here. We'll just go with, I don't know, something here. Add. And then to demo changing the colors, you can click on the button, click style, pick a different button color, edit the link here, or even remove the link by clicking this little unlink. Another recent change is now you can easily copy and paste a button. So if I just cut on my keyboard, Command X, I'll come up here and Command paste, paste in the button style. For those of you who have been copying and pasting buttons, the formatting hasn't been working out. So we got those bugs ironed out so that it copies and pastes buttons very smoothly now. And it keeps their original formatting. And so going back over here for a few more things I want to show you that are here. Now, again, all these things are things you could do before, but these are like the guided tour version of them to make it a little easier. For example, if I want to add a form tag now, I can do that. It tells you, what to do or how it works. And then there's an edit form button if you want. It'll even take you right to the spot in the system where you can edit the form fields. So you don't have to go hunting for that. So I'll delete that out of here. Audio file. This asks you if you want to upload a new one or from your library. If you pick, for example, from the library, it'll say, click the music icon to add an audio player. So if I hit this, now I've got a little audio player in there that I can play. Or that people can click play on. And this is great in courses in particular, but some people will put that on their website too if they've got some free audio that they want to share with people. So the button, I showed you the button already. The lead form and the contact me pop-ups are just kind of one-click shortcuts to your default button color that go to the hashtag lead, or in the case of contact, the hashtag contact, which what those do, you can see this is slot hashtag contact. So what these do, if you have a lead form on your page, this hashtag lead opens up the lead contact box, or it scrolls you to the part on the page where the lead form is. Contact me opens up that, there's a system built-in contact me box that you can put in there. It opens that up. So a few more things here. You can insert a carousel accordion here as well. So if I do that, for example, insert a carousel, it then adds it. You can kind of see it's underneath here at the bottom of the section, and then you can edit it however you want. And this is the carousels that hasn't changed at all. But now I've got this carousel down here, and I can play with that, and it's a part of that. You can also, just as a note, if you don't need it in a column, the easier way to add a carousel or accordion, that kind of thing, is by adding a section and then go to interactive, and then you can add your accordion, carousel, countdown timer. You can put all those in there right on the page in their own section, so they kind of take up the full thing, which is oftentimes how that works. But sometimes, carousel, depending on your photos, maybe it's nice to have it at the bottom of a column. So, or FAQ maybe in a column. So there's just kind of different formatting options there as well for you. So let me go back over here. There's a few more things I'd like to show with you there. There's some shortcuts for headers. So like if I click on header, this is exactly the same as coming to this more paragraph button and choosing heading 1. Likewise with the body text, that's exactly the same thing coming in here under this paragraph and picking normal. That's all the same. And then other than that, so those are just shortcuts for commonly used elements. Sometimes it's, the formatting gets stuck, if you will, because it's at the end of a section or something. You just want to add a paragraph text. You can use that and insert that to get what you want there. Otherwise, there's a number of other items here. These were always available. Previously, there used to be a little add element button up here. It was really tiny. It was kind of hard to find. So now that's all over here. The headers, there's all these different header options, buttons, if you want to see them all and what they look like, and you can change the button colors. There's a link to it once you add the button. The interactive, the carousel, accordion, countdown timer, automation link, which you can also add by clicking up here. Columns, you can add, say, example, a 3-column box right in the middle of your section, so you can end up actually even like nesting columns into each other if you have some advanced layout that you want to achieve. Otherwise, there's a few other nice things. There's pricing boxes, some labels, quotes. You can, dig through these and see what you want. These are all stylable as well. If you insert them, you don't like the colors, you can click on them and change the color using the wand icon at the top. And recent blog post is actually a nice new one. There is a section template for that as well. So like if you go to add a section, you can insert a recent blog post and it has like a comprehensive layout for it. But if you're going to do this individually, like if you want to create your own layout, I can come over here and say blog post title. The most recent post goes here. Maybe I want to come over here now in my second column, and I want my second most recent post and my third most recent post here, and then maybe come down. Anyway, so you can then now maybe you can insert the image for the most recent post. So you can work your way down there and kind of build the recent page layout if you want to do that yourself. Sometimes if you push Shift Enter, it does the line breaks a little bit better for the columns as well. So that's kind of the new add content panel, but there is one other thing I want to show you. So a common request that we've had is, okay, somebody has a section like this where they've got 2 columns and maybe they want to have a background image on it where they, I'll just pick this, for example. Maybe they've got parallax enabled on it. And if you're not familiar with that, let me do a preview here quick. As you scroll down to that section, you can kind of see how the background moves at a different rate than the foreground. So it really gives it kind of a nice smooth feeling to this as you're moving. But the challenge is a lot of times people have a 2-column layout and they want to add a header at the top. So now there's a button you can use for that. So if I click on this and hit add and scroll to the top, there's add a blank space at the top of this section. And so what that's going to do now, you can see it blinks at you a little bit. There's now a blank space where this could turn into my headline. Maybe I want to center this thing and make it heading 1. I'm not so sure about the colors, but there it is. So anyway, so now we've got a way to add that at the top. Similarly, maybe you want to have something at the bottom. You can come over here and add it at the bottom. It's going to add a blank space to that, wherever that went to here, whichever section is. Anyway, so that those are some shortcuts for you. There's a few other things you can do there with the adding section above and below, which are the same as pushing those add section buttons or adding a blank space above and below. So, and finally, there's one other tip for those of you who may be making reusable page templates. We have a handful of people who do that. Under settings, under advanced, there is a template editing features section. And once you do that, let me go back here to this section. It adds this page template editing section. These are basically just some settings that you can apply on different areas to make it easier to use the template once it's created. So if you have any questions about those, certainly reach out. Our team would be happy to help you with those. So yeah, so I think that's the lineup here. I'll hand it back over to you here, Ashley.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Greg. These updates are so huge for usability, especially for those of us who I assume are the vast majority of us, if not every single one of us, who are not professional web designers, but we want to be able to manage our own website, right? And there's no reason that you should have to hire someone to be able to create something that works really well for you, and of course, without making you crazy, right, in the process. So I wanted to bring out today, in the spirit of this, someone who has been using our platform for many years and has loved designing on the platform so much that she started creating resources for other people. So since this is your first time meeting Brandy, you guys, Brandy, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you do, how you got started here?
Hi, thank you. I was introduced to the AttractWell platform in 2020 when I was using a WordPress website and everything was all very segmented out. And I was looking to bring things in-house. Like I was having a Zoom Pro, I had Calendly for booking, I had something else for social media, I had contact for emailing. And so this was a one-stop shop for me. And now that the booking system has even been updated like a few months ago, I just love this platform so much. And I think every entrepreneur has something that they can utilize here in order to showcase their skill sets and their services. And so as I started creating my own brand and services, I just had people who are like, I love your website. Sometimes little tech savviness and eye for detail and creativity lacks in some people. And so they just need a little bit of help. And so I started getting fulfillment and joy out of helping people better learn how to use this platform. And now it's what I do full time. But I love empowering people. Like I'm only one person, and they have beautiful templates and they have a concierge service, but I love to empower people so that you don't have to hire someone every single time to be able to go in and make these changes to your website. And I really don't know how Greg does all that he does with his little magic on the back end, but I am someone who greatly appreciates it. So thank you for all of these updates, Greg. And most importantly, the collections of the photos. I was jumping up and down for joy with that. I mean, there's just so much. And in my opinion, it outranks what I was using with WordPress, hands down.
Fabulous. Well, Brandy, why don't you maybe tell us a little bit about, in terms of approaching designing a page, right? Because we've just learned a lot about how the page builder works. Some folks might not be super familiar with the process of building pages. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about how you approach creating pages with AttractWell?
Yes, I think simple is best. Less is more. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but it just needs to be kind of simplified and professional looking. And so I have a few of I'm still getting used to all of the new updates since they are so relatively new. But I have a simple little page here where I can show some of my most favorite things that I like to do in terms of making sure your colors are updated, spacing, padding, and certainly all of those things. So may I share my screen?
Please, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so before I get started on the page builder, I think it's important to reiterate the fact that keeping up with your branding is important, and having 3 to 5 colors that you can use throughout your website is important. On the basic package and below, you can always add on the branding package, which I highly suggest. It's worth every dollar, because if not, you're going to want to have a brand guide like this printed with your hex numbers visible, so that whenever you are making adjustments in your page builder, then you will have those handy. If you're on the premium plan or higher, you already have those available to you, and you can update those on the left hand side under it's customize my site. And so I would highly recommend doing that. It will just make all your designing so much easier. One of the things I first like to do is something called above the fold. And so when someone first lands on the website, what they see right here is important. And I don't like things to be halfway cut off. And so I always like to look at the background padding. And you can adjust that here. And you see how that moves, and you can make it smaller, you can make it larger. And so I have this set here. You might always have to play around with it depending on the type of headline and font that you have. But whenever you save it and look at it, then it takes up this full screen. So that's just like my first thing that I like to do. I also love the opacity feature that you can feature in here. And so I would encourage you to play around with this, and you'll want to click on the little edit elements and the little magic wand up there, and then select an entire little section. So see how this is all outlined? I'm going to select it, and then over here under background color, I'm going to select white, and then right under here under background opacity, I can adjust this, and you'll now see that it's making this a different color. I like to play around with this and also adjust the padding. So you can see how it will adjust the padding here. Sometimes I like to put section background images in the back. And so the opacity really looks good. Here, let me just see if I can do that so that you can see that as well. I might not do it if I had a picture of her right here, but you'll get the gist of at least what you can do. So you would go here under background image, change the background, and we'll just scroll down. If we see a blank photo, I'll use it. Well, here, we'll just use this one-page website, right? And so do you see how now an image popped up behind there? Okay, you would want to use one that doesn't have any words on it, okay? But at least you can get the gist of being able to kind of be multi-dimensional, and I like using that. Scrolling down here, another thing that I like to do is don't be scared of white space. When I first started designing websites, what I mean by that is you're gonna love the padding, the background padding right here. Remember I was telling you about that? See, when I first started, the padding would maybe be, I don't know, 20. And you see how close that is right here? It's actually easier for someone to read if there is a little bit more white space there between headings and content. So just going through your website and even adjusting padding is fantastic. I also like to use to separate certain sections. Sometimes I like to add just a single column here to divide the section. And I will click right here where the text is. Let's double click on that. We'll delete that text and then go over here where the plus sign is and the 3 dots. You're going to see this little line. It's going to insert a horizontal line here. And when we save that and then look at it on the page, give it a little refresh. I know that there is I know they have one where you can see it within the page builder, but I always like to do it like this. You see how it now adds this like little clean line here, and it can separate the sections. I also like to use background color to kind of add pops of color to the website so that you're not overusing the color. And we could do something like that here. click on the little pencil, and we can go to this background color. Let's say we'll choose this one. And you'll see now it inserted a little pop of color here. And of course, you can change the font color now that it will be white. That'll look just a little better, right? And you see how even this, I feel like this is a little too close. So I would practice that padding again. And just separate it a little bit, right? Okay, let's see. Some of my other favorite features here are the accordion section. I know that Greg was showing that just a little bit earlier. This is going to be under the interactive. And this would especially be helpful if you have a lot of information that you want to share with somebody. Maybe they have questions, maybe you're talking, maybe they want to know a little bit more about your services and what you have to offer. You can click on this and it's completely customizable. So you can write your question right here. I know you might have a services page, so I'm just using this as an example, but what services do you offer? Let's see. Where are you located? I'm not well at this on the fly, okay? But what you can do is come up here to style, and now you can actually adjust the background color. You can adjust the font, and you'll see how it's actually changing in real time. And then whenever you can view it, wow, just see how awesome that is to like bring your branding into it. And then you can obviously take the time to fill in those specific answers, and it allows you to get a lot of information in a more condensed space. I also really like using the carousel feature. If you have never done this before, especially if you're someone who has products that you offer and services, you can click on this little carousel and you can change your slide image, and then you can choose from any of the slides that you have, and then it will change. Let's see. I'm gonna hit save here. And then whenever we go and we refresh, then you'll see that the images are here and they will change. And I just love that. And earlier, Greg was also mentioning about the blog section. If you are someone who blogs, and I really suggest that you do, because blogging actually tells the Googles, right, that your website is alive and active. And it's a way that you can consistently be adding new valuable content to your website. And I do like the fact, Greg, that you can actually change these, because right now it's like your most 3 recent. But if there's a specific blog that you would love someone to be able to see, then you can specify which specific blog you want highlighted on your page. And I just think that's so cool. And you'll notice here, then if these blogs had images, the images would be here and the title to them. So let's see. Also, I think I want to go up here and show you in the settings, because if you've ever accepted a template from someone, or you are in the process of creating a page, or one is outdated and it's old, and you don't want someone to accidentally come upon it, I would make sure that you unpublish it, because even if somebody was to Google your name or your business, it is still viewable and findable if it is published. And so if it has broken links and you don't want someone to be able to come upon it, make sure that you unpublish the page. I think I'd also really quickly, I like the feature here for photos. So I want to be able to highlight the photos here. And if you've never played around with some of these little style options, it's just a way to be able to add a little bit of character to images. So you'll see that I chose, whoops, to add a shadow. So now you can see that there is a shadow added to this one. I can come to this center one. Of course, you would want them to all be uniform, okay? But I can now add a border around an image, and you'll notice that there is, oh, I keep tapping right there. Now there's a border around the center one. And then there's one where you can also round the corners. I'm going to go back to this one too, because you can drag and drop these images, make them small to make them bigger. But if you didn't know that this enlarge to full width will actually enlarge the photo so that it takes up the maximum space within its column, or even if you were going to do a header, that I just love being able to do that because it's one click versus having to drag and drop. Let's see if I can find another section that I just love. He went through so many. Okay. I think the last thing that I would love to be able to show is the copy in another page, because when Coach Ashley shared this, it blew my mind. Have you ever started working on something in one page and you wanted to include it in another? I have. And instead of just copying and pasting, you can actually copy it in from another page. So I'm just going to use this simple footer because this is just simple and easy for you to be able to see. But now you can see here that we have added in this section. And because it is a footer, if I wanted to, I could, simply use the little arrow button, move this section down. So if you didn't know that that little down button existed, now you do. If you do ever have a section that you want to duplicate, so say you want to use this section divider in multiple places, simply hit the double pages, and now you can duplicate, and then you can move it to wherever you would like to move it to. And then if there's a section and that you're still working on it and you want the rest of your page to be visible, but you don't want this section to be visible, don't forget you can tap on any of these little images right here for the tablet, the desktop, and the laptop. And when it turns red here, this section will no longer be visible. You'll see whenever I click on the little preview here, then we'll scroll down and that section is gone. It's no longer visible. So just keep that in mind whenever you are creating pages. Those are just
Randy, could we see maybe some examples of pages that you've designed, either whether it be yours on your own site or maybe Rhonda's?
Sure. Here's just a simple one-page website we were kind of going over earlier. I do have a client who has really just taken her website and built it and grown it. She's constantly trying to master her affiliate marketing, and she's using the events feature now. And let's see if you can see her page. So this is one of my clients, Rhonda. She offers a variety of services in the health and wellness space. Okay. She is blogging, she is using events. And let's see. I love her favorites page because she's always writing blog posts and then coming here and literally updating her favorites page. These are all linked to her, Amazon affiliate links. So if she's working with a client, she can send them here to get their information. If they're interested in booking services with her, she's being able to fully utilize her website for what services that she has to offer. We're in the process right now of actually setting up her booking system so that we can automate her business for her. Let's see. This is a website for one of the home health care and home health care companies that I created a website for. And so this is something that they wanted at the top where we used the stick to feature. And so it's always going to stay there at the top, even whenever we scroll down to look at what all they have to offer. So I just love this. I've done a dermatology office. I have done a metal roofing company. And so I just love that these websites, right, are so diverse. Really, any company can be able to use them no matter whatever it's for. And you'll see that we have this is part of the footer. And so every time we go on their page, you're going to see this specific thing at the bottom of every one of their pages. So I can keep showing you more if you would like to.
I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. If you would like to show maybe your website, and I'm going to pop it down here in the chat, if you guys would like to check out Brandy's work and learn more about what she's doing. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing here today. I really, really appreciate it. So yeah, you guys be sure to check out Brandy. She's got incredible resources, some of them free. She blogs about a lot of topics that could be really interesting to you. So yeah, thank you so much for this. I do want to make sure we can get into a couple of questions here. Let me see. All right, yeah. So we've got basically 3 questions that have come through that are going to be pretty hands-on. So I want to make sure that we can dive into those. Brandy, thank you so much for sharing this. And feel free to stick around and provide any feedback if you want to as we're going through these, answering these questions here. So let me see. Nandi Edwards, you've got a question here about your campaign automation. If you could pop your hand up here in the on Zoom, I will bring you out to chat. Hey, can you tell me the name of the campaign that is delivering incorrectly in your account?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's the Sanctuary Live call. I actually use a template that you created, where it had 3 different campaigns. So the challenge that I'm having is the emails keep going out on the wrong dates, and I don't understand why. So like for example, so the one that you're looking at right now, the one that says number 8, I wanted it to go on the 8th, and it actually went out today.
Okay. So what we need to do the first things first, if people aren't like, if you have people on this campaign right now and you want them to stop receiving these messages until you adjust, if you come into an issue like this and you're not sure how to fix it, one of the most important things that we should do first, and I'm not going to walk through all of this because I want to preserve privacy here, but you would click here on to view these contacts, and then in the bulk actions, you remove this campaign from them.
Okay. And
Right?
can I
So
add it back?
yes.
Okay.
But I would go ahead just in the future, if you run into an issue like this, or anybody who's watching, if you run into an issue about delivery of a campaign and you're unsure of what to do next, the first thing that you can do is just go ahead and remove the campaign from those contacts. Make sure that they are all tagged so that you can find them for next steps. But then what you want to do to fix this campaign is to adjust the delivery date, right? So the one that sent, so it looks like, all right, tell me when you're wanting these to be received again.
So last week was the first time that I ran this. So it was the opening. So that's the number 1 and the number 3. There was actually a number 2, but I guess I accidentally deleted it. So to answer your question, the first day was March 2nd. So this is a every Sunday thing. So I was trying to set it up where it goes out, an email goes out a day before, letting them know that, hey, this is coming up tomorrow, and then 30 minutes before the event, they get another email. But what's happening is people are getting the emails either too late after the event, Or in this case, they got it today, which I believe today is the 6th instead of the 8th.
Okay, okay. So has this been changed? Was the date of this campaign changed?
No, I did not change it. So that was the original. So that date that you're seeing up there, February 28th, was I put that date in, and then what I was thinking it was it it will reflect from that date moving forward, if that makes sense.
Got you. So the date here is basically the day that the campaign um, is applied, right? It's the send date for the campaign.
Mm,
And basically that means that however many days from this
right.
date, you
Mm-hmm.
will start seeing the interval of messages go out, right? So this would be the next day, right? So the next day, it's not a leap year, so that's going to be the first. And then you would be able to set up the interval from there. If people are receiving this message
Mm-hmm.
today,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we would need to look into internally. It doesn't appear though.
Yeah,
And let
if you like, if you can go into my, because I have my own just to test it out for myself. So you can look at my name and you'll see
okay,
I received one today. It's the NNE
okay,
email, and I received it today.
okay.
So
So
there it is. Yeah. And that should have been the 8th.
okay, let's see here. This is the campaign. Right now, that's a Welcome to Vault campaign.
Mhm.
This is the live calls. Um, but you're on day 8 of this campaign. So I'm not
One thing that
entirely
comes to mind,
sure. I'm
yeah,
sorry?
one thing that comes to mind here too, if you go back to the campaign page, sometimes, so what happens when you add a campaign to somebody and then later change it by changing the dates or moving things around, the system remembers for each contact that the campaign was added on, it had a date of when that campaign started. And
Mhm.
that can get out of sync as you edit the campaign. So there is actually a little adjust. Can you click on edit messages in there? There's a little, it's on the upper right there. It says adjust recipients right under the date. If you click that, what that does is it goes to all the recipients on there and it like resets the date, the starting date for them to that specific date. So it'll synchronize them so they're all on this schedule that you see here. So going forward, they should all be now on this schedule. The reason it doesn't change them is maybe there was somebody else on a different schedule, and if you shifted them, they would double up on a message. But if you want everyone to be synced and you've made some changes to that top date, then click that Adjust Recipients button. That should take care of this issue. If not, certainly reach out to our support. We can help.
So just from my understanding, you're saying every week I have to click that right feature right there, adjust recipients, because I want this to go out on schedule Saturday and the day of. So every week I have to click
Uh,
that.
You wouldn't have to just add a new message and make sure that the date is right. So like, it says March 9th there in that last one. If you add a new message, just make sure it's March, whatever that would be, 17th or
So
15th or
in this
what.
case, it is, I mean, the date is there. It does says March 8, March 9, but
Mhm.
that March 8 one came today.
Right. So it's possible, I think what Greg is saying is that you have edited this campaign previously, right?
So the only thing I did was duplicate the the campaign emails. That's the only edits I've done.
Okay. So what's likely that could have happened here is that modifications were made to the dates in this campaign, perhaps, after they had been applied to the contacts. And so the contact is receiving the version of the campaign that was active when they signed up or when they were added to this campaign, right? And that's what this adjust recipients option is right here. That's to just kind of reset everybody to this schedule. Because if you edit a like dates in a campaign, so if you go back, let's just say, for instance, everybody who's on this campaign, 7 people are on this campaign right now. They potentially, this could have been day 7 or day 6 possibly. This could have been day 6 previously, right? And when that got changed to day 8, that applies to anyone else moving forward, but not the people who had the campaign applied to their contact prior to that change, right? And I think that would be the case for your contact and potentially others. But moving forward, to maintain this, you don't have to worry about adjusting recipients if these are correct right now, because we've just done that and it's good to go. But all you would need to do is, so let's say you said March the 9th. March 9th is Sunday. When would be the next email that you would send after March 9th?
So then I will send a follow-up, like a recap. So what you're seeing there with number 3 will be the next one.
Okay, perfect. So day 3 has already sent. So I'm just going to duplicate this. And that's going to also be for the 9th, or is that for the 10th?
That will be
For
the
the
10th, yes.
Okay, got you. So I'll make a copy of that and I'll change that to 10, right? And here you would just want to make sure that this, is
Updated.
updated. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so this would be fine moving forward. You don't have to have every message in the campaign created, that will be received in the future when you apply it to someone. But if a campaign message is created already and that campaign is applied to someone and you change the date for that message, you do have to go in and adjust the recipients. But I don't think that's something you need to do moving forward because these are correct.
Okay.
And we've performed that action. So moving forward, you can just add the additional messages as you need them.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with your original suggestion, turn this off and test it internally, just to make sure, because I feel kind of bad that folks are getting these emails out of sync and it's confusing them.
Well, they definitely won't anymore because this action has been run, right?
Mhm.
So that should be fine moving forward. If you want to send a single broadcast to them and say, sorry, had an internal error, this is resolved, keep an eye out on emails moving forward, then like you should be good to go
Okay,
from this point forward.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, Barb, are you here? Yes. Hi. All right. So do you have your video created to add to your page?
Yes. So do
Awesome.
you remember, do you remember, and I'm sorry I wasn't here on Monday. I was on a cruise ship with no internet.
Good for you.
I hate that follow-up group. I'm sad about that. Do you remember that I had that 4-minute video that I wanted them to watch prior to the call?
Yes.
And so we had talked about like where to put it. And that's
Mhm.
my biggest question. That's all I think I have left to do before launching. I had sent you a note in the client funnel challenge in
Mhm.
the discussion, and I put that video in there just to kind of tell you where it's at.
Is that this one or
No, it's not in there. I just sent it to you
got
in
you?
the discussion post.
Okay, got you.
In the client funnel challenge. And basically, my biggest question is where to put it and then how to go about like inserting it and
Yeah.
where
So
it should go.
so this is basically you're getting someone into your funnel. You've got your lead magnet. They watch the authority video. They have booked a call with you, but prior to getting on the call, you want them to watch a 4-minute video, right?
Correct.
Okay. So because I know the type of business that you're running and how you close in situations like this, number one, I would add that video right in here to your videos in AttractWell.
Okay.
Number two, this is actually not a step because what you're doing is prospecting, right? This is not a step where I would utilize automation to send this video.
Okay.
And the number one reason for this is that you are going to get you're going to get more engagement on that video, meaning somebody is going to be more likely to watch the whole thing if you are more present for the process, right?
So you think I should show the video when I'm on the call with them?
Couple of options.
Okay.
Number one, it's 4 minutes. I would say yes. because that's how you know that they have actually watched it. Like there's a level of accountability there, right?
Okay.
The way that I personally used to do this when I was in a similar type of business, and of course this was pre-Zoom, I would pick up the phone and be like, all right, I'm sending you a link right now. I want you to click it. I'll call you back in 4 minutes. Right?
Okay.
Anything similar to that is going to work best for you. But one more thing I really want you to know about in your AttractWell system is you can share with link, right? Which we can click here. We can click get link, but we could also make this shareable to a specific contact. Now, this person is in your system. When it's time for you, maybe 10, 15 minutes before you are getting on this call, or however long, 30 minutes ahead of time before you get on this call, pop in here, type in their name, right? And then you can track the percentage of the video that they've watched. You can choose to have things happen in your system based on those actions. Now, this specific link shareable, this feature at this point is not something that feeds into automation. So we couldn't just create this and have it go out automatically to any lead who's in your funnel. I would certainly love to see that in the future, but right now this is more of a manual process. But again, I actually know, knowing how you close in your business, that it's going to be more advantageous for you to be an active part of the sharing the video process. To say, all right, I'm really looking forward to getting into all this with you. First thing you need to do is watch this 4-minute video. And your best chance of making sure that they actually watch the whole 4-minute video is for you to say, here it is, and then we'll chat. And you can do that on Zoom by allowing them to watch, and you just, turn off your audio, video, whatever, let them do it. But if you would like, you also have the ability to do all kinds of really fun, interesting stuff. If you use this feature. So that's where I would put it. I would put it in your AttractWell videos, and then you can also choose these things as well. So you could, for instance, depending on how much volume you're going to put through this funnel, you could choose to get notified after they've completed it. Right? Maybe if you aren't offering this on the Zoom, you're sending this ahead of time. And then you could, that's where you could basically say, well, you didn't watch the video, we're going to have to reschedule or something like that, right? You can manage all of that here with this feature.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a powerful use case there. Okay, I think I saw there was one other. Okay, Yulia says, can I create pages with my program overview and registration button that's not shown on my website and can only be seen if I send it directly to the client? Yes, that is actually an option that that Brandy showed here just a bit ago. Actually, let me pop out of share real quick here and get back into the Jane account, and I will show you. Here we go. So this is in the page settings. This is where you want to go if you want to make sure that a page is not viewable to anyone except people that you share the link with. So this would apply to pages inside of a funnel, meaning on the other side of an opt-in. Basically anything that you don't want to be indexed on a search engine, right? You don't want Google to be able to send people to this particular page. So this is going to be for pages where you need to qualify someone before the offer, and the offer is maybe made on this page. It could be where a lead magnet is delivered, right? Not something that you want people to just be able to find. So under settings, you're going to go right over here to where it says pages shown, and you're going to choose by link only. And you have the option for Vault checkout pages to do this as well, right? Or to choose whether or not anyone can see the link, or if you have to share with them directly for them to be able to see it. Okay, just curious, what is the cost to have you build out our funnels? Like get started simple coaching funnel with a standard website page. Can't speak to what Brandy does, but you know where our website is. And then we also have attractwell.com/concierge. So if you would like to talk to Brandy about that, she's also, I believe, in our Facebook group, right? Awesome. Thank you guys for so many great questions. And for being a part of this incredible community. More to come where this is concerned. I think we're certainly due for some, some additional design trainings, kind of going through and walking through what it looks like to build a home page, right? But we do have lots of training like this on our website or on our YouTube channel rather, or when you are inside of AttractWell. If you go over to the Success Academy, that's right here in your dashboard, Success Academy right here. All you got to do is go over here to live training and replays, and you can find whatever you'd like. So if you want to find a home page, right? Lots of great options here. We've got templates, we've got trainings, and of course, so much there for you to explore. Thanks again so much for being here, for being a part of this community. We'll be back here same time next week. And thank you so much to Brandy for sharing with us today, and to Greg for making this platform so incredible. We will be back next week. Take care, everybody.